In this IBM Cloud demonstration, we'll examine how IBM's Analytics Cloud portfolio can be used to help reduce the cost of ownership of your current business intelligence environment and also reinvent relationships with customers, vendors, and suppliers. Before we move on, I'd like for you to take a moment and reflect on what type of business you're in. Is it education, retail, life sciences? Now think about the main reason your organization exists. What's the core product or service that you provide? Now, does managing a database directly support this? Does applying an operating system patch help you with your strategic objectives? Over the next few minutes, I'd like to discuss how cloud technologies like dashDB for running a data warehouse as a service and Cognos Analytics for running business intelligence as a service free you up to spend more time on higher value activities like getting closer to your customers and reinventing relationships. In this demonstration, we'll review how Great Outdoors, a fictitious retailer of outdoor adventure equipment, uses IBM Cloud technology as the foundation for their high-performance analytics environment and how this flexible architecture allows them to share information with other organizations. In this first scenario, a business analyst from Great Outdoors is trying to gain better insight into the types of shipments that are made and how they are transacted across the globe. All of this information is stored in a dashDB cloud database. The first thing to point out is that when working with a cloud data source, it's no different than working with a traditional on-premise database like DB2. Within the modeling tool, we can run a simple query to confirm that the data set we are using is around 6 million rows. While not huge by today's standards, using this data set in an interactive fashion as we are here still proves to be challenging for many database technologies being used today. The load and go approach with dashDB means that you don't have to worry about building predefined aggregate tables or complex indexing strategies. You can spend less time managing your database and more time analyzing your business. With our model ready to go, we can jump into the portal and start building a report. Within the Cognos Analytics portal, I simply choose the model that I want to use as the basis of my report to start the process. To help build professional-looking reports, there's a collection of templates and themes that I can use which automatically set the layout and color for me. In this example, I have selected a template that has two sections for my data. In the bottom half, I'd like to add a crosstab to show the specific metrics associated with the various shipment modes you use. With the flyout menus, this can be easily done by clicking the plus image and selecting the crosstab icon. Now, all I have to do is drag the data items from my model onto the report. Delivery year as columns, shipment mode for the rows, and total invoice charges as the measure. The on-demand toolbars are very helpful at accelerating the report development process by providing common functions like sorting and alignment while providing a clean and simple interface. The built-in page preview means that I can see the report output without having to leave the interface. In order to prove that there aren't any tricks in this demo, I'm going to set the total number of rows on the page to be 1000. Basically, this means that all of the data required to run the report has to be queried at once. You can see that the report runs almost instantly. In this scenario, our business analyst is really only concerned with recent years, so I'm going to leverage a model filter that gives me data from 2013 to 2015. With the on-demand toolbars, I can also exclude rows that are not important to me. Just to prove that we aren't simply using an aggregate table, I'm going to add additional equipment type details into the report. As I scroll down the page, you'll notice that there is a fair amount of detail. Adding equipment type was to test performance, so since we don't need it in the report, we'll remove it. The last thing we want to do to the crosstab is to remove any empty rows or columns, so we'll suppress them. For the top section of the report, I want to add a dynamic map visualization. I can leverage the built-in search to locate it and then drag it into the report. I'll show the properties of this visualization so that I can change the size in order to fill the cell. From there, it's basically a paint-by-numbers approach to map the ship-to country I want to plot, along with the invoice charges measure I previously used. Now, to make this report more interactive and illustrate the dynamic portion of the map, I'm going to leverage the wizard to build a prompt page. When I run the report with all countries, I obviously see the entire map. However, when I run the report again and just choose Canada, The focus is on this one country. You can see in this first scenario how using the IBM Cloud provides the analytical capabilities and performance needed for our business analyst. Again, we were working with 6 million rows of data, which were processed almost instantly. For the second scenario in our demonstration, we're going to be looking at an operations manager within Greater Doors. To start off, they're using a sales module that they created independently from the information technology department. This reusable asset can be connected to other areas of the business to gain different perspectives. Greater Doors is a forward-thinking organization that is constantly reinventing itself. They recently partnered with a third-party sustainability firm that has expertise with the Internet of Things. Greater Doors wanted to analyze its operations, so they worked with the firm to use sensors and instrumentation to gain insight into the carbon emitted and water consumed in the manufacturing and distribution process. This information was initially streamed to a private cloud, with an aggregate table being made available to both organizations in a separate cloud instance. Greater Doors didn't embark on this journey for the sake of greenwashing, but they view carbon as wasted energy and wanted to improve the efficiency of their internal processes. This Microsoft Excel spreadsheet is a sample of the data that they received from the firm. Here we can see the product number for everything that the Greater Doors manufactures, along with kilograms of carbon emitted and liters of water used. They could have simply uploaded this spreadsheet into Cognos, but since they went through several iterations with the firm, they wanted a simple approach. By sharing a dashDB database instance, Greater Doors was able to start using these new insights the second they became available. Now this part of the demonstration walks you through one option for loading data into dashDB. The built-in Load Hub allows for data to be loaded from the desktop. Other cloud sources like Amazon S3 or Swift, geospatial data based on shapefiles, Twitter, and other open source data. For this example, we'll load directly from the desktop. This is a guided import where you locate the spreadsheet you want to use and select some specifics, like the delimiter and whether or not the file contains column headings. During the import process, you can select whether you'd like to append to a table or overwrite what's currently in place. In this demonstration, we're going to replace what's already there. We finally have a summary that states that no rows were rejected. At this point in time, we have successfully loaded in our sustainability data. Before I move on, I want to demonstrate how easy it is to connect to an IBM dashDB cloud instance. All of the connectivity information is available right in the tool, which I can then use to set up a data server in Cognos. After I choose to add a dashDB data server, I can copy and paste the connectivity information. You can see that the connection tested successfully. Going back to the start of our second scenario, I'm now in a position to marry the sustainability data with my sales data that exists on-prem. All I have to do is browse the data server I just connected to and drag the table over. The most technical piece in all of this is to choose which tables and columns to match on. Here I can see that the relationship was set up successfully. To recap this scenario, we started with a reusable data module. Again, data modules with an IBM Cognos Analytics can be used like building blocks to combine different areas of the business. From there, we took advantage of data that was moved to the cloud by one of our trusted partners. This allowed us to combine Greater Doors' internal sales data with cloud data to analyze operational efficiencies in ways that were not previously possible. In order to analyze the combined data set, I can perform some data discovery through an interactive dashboard. In order to guide me with the process, there are a series of templates that I can use as a starting point. All I need to do next is choose the data module that I built in the previous step. I should point out that we can use one or more data modules to build this dashboard. Notice that as I start to drag data items onto the dashboard, the tool is automatically selecting the best visualization for me. Unlike other technologies, I don't have to specify the data container or object type first. With Cognos Analytics, the dashboard automatically responds to me and gives me the best visualization for whatever type and combination of data that I add. After I drag over water, carbon, revenue, and product type, my final visualization is a bubble chart. Bubble charts are a powerful visualization because they allow you to plot several metrics simultaneously. On the screen we have liters of water along the x-axis, kilograms of carbon along the y-axis, and the size of the bubble represents the amount of revenue we generated from that product type. This visualization is good, but we can take it a step further by looking at how these product types change over time. By adding a data player and specifying the time period of quarter, the data starts to tell a story. I can jump to a specific quarter or let the player run to see how my product types evolve over time. As the operations manager, I can make informed decisions and inquire about internal processes. We use a lot of water and energy to make eyewear, but there is respectable revenue with them. For products like lanterns, we need to investigate why they're so carbon and water intensive and what we can do to bring these down. In the second scenario, you can see how moving to cloud allows us to redefine how we work with customers, suppliers, and vendors. I hope that this demonstration provides some insight into how you can start using IBM dashDB and Cognos Analytics on the cloud. I'd like to encourage you to get started right away and reach out to your local IBM business partner, IBM, or myself, David Zyla. Thank you for your time.